We've got an hour of yin yang together. So we're going to get started in child's pose, balasana. When you're ready, find your way onto your knees. Big toes together, back of the mat, knees out wide. We start in some sort of longer held poses, our yin practice, and then we move into a more dynamic practice through our yang. So in your child's pose, if you can, rest your forehead on the floor. If not, just cross your forearms, rest your forehead on your forearms. Definitely close your eyes. And take in some long, slow, deep breaths. Yin Yang practice is one of my favourites to practice as well as to teach. It's a beautiful reminder of the polarities of life. The highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad. There's a term in the yogic tradition called sthira and sukha. And what it simplistically comes to mean is strength coupled with softness. But what it's in reference to are the polarities of life. With one comes the other. We can't know one without the other. So we start, yin is the sukha, the softness, the relax, the slow. And then yang is the opposite, the dynamic, the active. Yin is passive. We're just going to take 5 more breaths in our child's pose. Ujjayi breaths, in through the nose, out through the nose, slight restriction through the back of your throat. And then we're going to come into a Sphinx pose. So slowly peel yourself up. You're lying down on your belly for Sphinx. Legs out long behind you. Come onto your elbows and make sure your elbows are stacked underneath your shoulders. Hands wherever's comfortable for you. You're pushing your elbows into the floor to lift your chest up. But at the same time, see if you can kind of use your mat as a bit of traction. Drag your elbows closer towards your hips. And as you do that, lift your collarbones up, and then you might like to close your eyes. Breathe into the belly stretch. If you have any back issues, it's really good to do this pose, but maybe just back off a little bit, don't come up as high. Yoga teaches us, well actually, in the tradition of yoga and all the traditional texts of yoga, it teaches us that yoga is a state of equanimity. So when we're faced with the polarities of life, we get to harness the power rather than ride with the ups and downs. Equanimity, evenness. Stay here if this is enough for you. Otherwise, we're going to bring one knee out to the side. We're just going to go from one side to the other, so it doesn't matter which side you do first. Maintaining this little back extension, but then adding in a half frog. The asana practice, regardless of the style, regardless if it's a yin focus or if it's a yang focus, the poses are designed to teach us that equanimity. We come into a pose where we feel a little bit of discomfort or challenge, evenness of mind, just like when you come into a pose that you feel really calm and relaxed in. Either way, the practice is equanimity. If you took a knee out to the side, slowly bring it back in, and then swap it over to the other side. There's a saying that a calm mind, a mind of equanimity, is the ultimate weapon against any challenges. We practice it here in all the poses and all the transitions and any challenges that might pop up for us, physical, mental, emotional. So then we can take it with us into our days, into our lives. And we stay more even through the ups and downs, the polarities. 3 breaths. This is going to take us into a thread the needle shoulder stretch. So extend that. If you took the leg out to the side, bring it back again. Just lie down, but as you lie down, your right arm is going to slide in underneath your chest. Left arm can either reach out in front or you can use it to support your forehead. Bend the elbow and rest your forehead on your forearm. Now again, you can stay as you are. Just if this is enough of a stretch for you, then I do encourage you to stay. Otherwise, you can intensify this stretch somewhat by bringing that leg out, the same as what we did before, the half frog. Right arm's underneath, so it's the right leg that comes out to the side. You kind of have to roll yourself off, bring the leg out, and then roll yourself back down. Only if you feel up to taking that little bit of extra oomph. yourself out of it. If you took the knee out to the side, maybe roll off first, then draw the knee back. Swap it straight over to the other side. Don't take the knee out to the side just yet. Just do the shoulder stretch first if you're doing the knee option. Just give your shoulder a few breaths here before intensifying. The option is to stay or slide the left knee. If the left arm's underneath, left knee comes out to the side. Sthira and Sukha. Sthira meaning strength and steadiness, that real activity. And Sukha is the ease, the softness, the passive. That's the yoga equivalent to the traditional Chinese method of yin and yang. And they are a representation of all the polarities in life. Hot, cold, high, low, praise, scorn. And we can't know one without the other. Happiness, sadness, joy, grief. Equanimity is the teaching. Regardless of the experience, evenness of mind. Three more breaths. Slowly releasing out of it and coming into a closed child's pose when you're ready. So push back up onto all fours, big toes together, knees are closer together than your standard child's pose. Forehead to the floor, arms down by your sides. But again, if that's not accessible for you, then you can bring your arms out in front or cross your forearms and rest your forehead on your forearms. You've got 5 deep breaths. And as we start to move from the yin experience, that sukha, that ease and passive, to the more dynamic yang, sthira. Last breath. Make it long and slow. So then we can utilize it as we start to move more dynamically, coming up onto all fours and moving through your cat-cows now. So stack your wrists under your shoulders, knees underneath hips. As you exhale, push the floor away and push the back of the ribs to the sky. As you inhale, drop the ribs to the floor, loop your shoulders, lift your gaze. And then keep moving in through your cat stretch and then into your cow stretch. If you need a side stretch as well, you can look over a shoulder, squeeze a hip and shoulder together. Nice opportunity for a foot stretch as well. You can tuck your toes and sink your hips to your heels. Or if you need a rotation, you can take another thread the needle, just the high version, hips above knees. Wherever you are, make sure you're even, right side to left side. Do 3 more breaths. And then as you're ready, make your way up into your downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. So your hands are shoulder width apart, but if you're tight through your shoulders, take them a little bit wider. Grip the mat with your fingertips, spread your fingers wide for a surface area to balance on. Gripping the mat with your fingertips will engage your wrist joint, keeping it safe. Now you're sending your sit bones to the sky. Most of us, especially first thing in the morning, they're tight. So pedal your heels out, bend your knees as much as you need to, and you use your breath to create space. Bandhas are now switched on, so our central core locks, pelvic floor lifting, pit of the belly flowing in and up. Imperative for our dynamic movement, keeping it safe. Taking 5 more deep breaths. Three-legged downward facing dog. So right leg to the sky, bend the knee and peel the hip space open. Send that right kneecap up towards the sky, opening up through the hips, keeping your shoulders as square as you can. Sending the left heel low, but the knee can be bent. As you engage that right glute and take the right kneecap higher to the sky, breathe in. Place that foot to the floor as you breathe out and take it straight over to the other side. Left leg. Take it up, bend the knee, peel the hip space open. Right leg can be bent as much as you need to. Take another breath in and then walk your feet forward into ragdoll. So bring your feet towards the front of your mat and out nice and wide, at least hip width, but for most of us that's space. The further our feet go apart, the more space we create. So then you can really fold into that space. Knees bent, especially if you're tight through your hammies. One more breath. Release your hands to the floor. Toe heel your feet in. Big toes come together, heels slightly apart. Take a halfway lift. Straighten out through your spine. You can bring your hands to your shins. And forward fold, bend your knees. You're going to slowly roll yourself up to standing. Push down through your feet. Roll up through your spine, then loop your shoulders at the top end, reach your arms, big breath in, forward fold, breath out. Again, bend your knees, hands come to the floor, halfway lift, lengthen out through your spine, high plank, hands down, step your feet back. Set up your first high plank. So push the floor away, hug your thumbs in, remember that gripping mat, that gecko grip of the fingertips to send energy through your wrist joint, elbows, shoulders. Central core locks, bandhas, pelvic floor, pit of the belly. Lengthen out, heels to head and breathe. Evenness, regardless of the situation. Regardless of the pose and the intensity of the pose, evenness of mind. That's the core teaching of yoga. Shift your weight forward, breathe in. Control the exhale and control the lower down, all the way to your belly. 3 cobra poses. Inhale, lift your chest up off the floor. Exhale, release. Do that again. Take some weight off your hands. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Do that one more time. A little bit more weight off your hands. Inhale. Downward facing dog. Exhale. Right leg to the sky. Breath in. Bend and peel open as you breathe out. Scissor the legs a little bit wider. Take that breath in. Low lunge as you breathe out. Lift that right foot forward. Place it towards the right thumb. And sink down into your hips. Stay here. Breathe. I'm going to come into pyramid pose. So drop the back heel. The right leg doesn't have to go completely straight. You can have a bend in it. But just fold over that right leg. Tuck your chin. Maybe close your eyes. One more breath. We're coming to our low lunge twist. So left hand stays on the floor. Come back to low lunge. Right hand reaches up towards the sky. If you can, take your gaze with it. One more breath in. Downward facing dog, breath out. Left leg to the sky, inhale. Bend, peel open, exhale. Stay, big breath in. Low lunge, use your core, bring that foot forward to the left arm, breath out. Stay in your low lunge, sink down, get that hip stretch. And then set up your pyramid. Drop the back heel. Again, you're straightening out through the left leg, but it doesn't have to go straight, completely straight. You're better off having a bend in the knee where your belly and thigh meets. They make contact. And you fold over, tuck your chin. If you can, close your eyes. One more breath. Low lunge twist. Right hand plugs in, left hand reaches up. Take your gaze up as well. Breathe in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Shift your weight forward into your high plank, breath in. Then lower all the way down, breath out. 2 cobra poses. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. One more, breath in. Downward facing dog, breath out. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Low lunge, exhale. Sink through your hips, breathe in. Pyramid fold, breathe out. Low lunge twist, right hand to the sky, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. We're going to add in a connecting vinyasa in between. So high plank, breathe in. If you're ready, low plank, breathe out, otherwise to your belly. Up dog or cobra pose. Downward facing dog, sit bones to the sky. Left leg, take it up. Exhale it through. Sink through your hips, breathe in. Pyramid fold, breathe out. Low lunge twist, left hand up, breathe in. Downward facing dog, breath out. High plank, Dandasana, inhale. Low plank, Chaturanga, exhale. Up dog, Urdhva Mukha. Down dog, Adho Mukha. Right leg to the sky, in. Evenness of mind, bring it through, out. Sink and fill. Pyramid fold. Low lunge twist, breath in. Downward facing dog, breath out. High plank, inhale. Low plank, exhale. Upward facing fill. Downward facing empty. Left leg, inhale it up. Exhale through. Hips sink, breath fills. Pyramid, empty. Low lunge twist, inhale. Downward facing dog from your core, exhale. High plank, inhale. Low, empty. Upward facing fill. Downward facing stay. If you can, close your eyes. Bend your knees as much as you need to send your sit bones to the sky. Feel the breath moving in and out. With that level of evenness. Regardless of the pose, regardless of the transition, regardless of the challenge, mind stays even. One more breath. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Bring it through to that low lunge on your exhale. This time come up to your crescent lunge. So keep your legs nice and low in the lunge. Just lift your torso and your hands or arms up to the sky. There's a loop of the shoulder and a lift of the collarbones, similar to what we did in our Sphinx pose at the very beginning. Hips are grounded, that's our stira, that steadiness. And then the chest is lifted, that's our ease, sukha. The polarities, breathe in. Warrior two, drop the back heel as you breathe out, separate the arms. Just take a look at that right knee, make sure it's stacking directly on top of your ankle. And then if you can, sink down further into it. That combination that's always there, stira and sukha, there's this strength, but coupled with ease. And that's what gives us that equanimity. Reverse. Flip your right hand, reach it all the way up and over and stay. One more breath in. We come into our high plank as we breathe out. Now we're going to add in just one push-up. So take a breath in, low push-up breath out, high push-up breath in, then low push-up breath out, upward facing dog breath in. Downward facing dog, empty. Every flow that we do, we're going to add in that one push-up for the strength work, that stira, before we move into the rest of the connecting vinyasa. Everything's optional though, right? Left leg to the sky, inhale. Bring it through to your low lunge, exhale. Highly encouraged though, of course. Reach it up into crescent lunge, keeping the legs low in the lunge. Feel that grounding force from your waist down and the uplifting from the waist up. Breathe in. Warrior two, breathe out. Keep your belly lifted, gaze fixed. Maybe sink a little bit lower and then keep the depth in your legs. Flip the left palm and reverse your warrior. Up and over, stay. Awesome, one more breath in. High plank as you breathe out. Now if you're not going to take the push up, then just hold your high plank. Breathe in. Low plank, breathe out. High plank, inhale. Low plank, exhale. Upward facing dog, fill. Downward facing dog, empty. Hold your down dog, close your eyes. Breathe and find that state of evenness. Three more breaths. And then the practice is maintaining that evenness through the dynamic movement. Last breath. Let's go, right leg, take it up. Inhale, low lunge, exhale. Crescent lunge, breath in. Warrior two, breath out. Reverse to warrior, inhale. High plank, exhale. Breathe in your high plank, either stay or low plank. Back up to high plank, inhale. Low plank, exhale. Upward facing, fill up. Downward facing, empty. Left leg to the sky, breathe in. Low lunge, breathe out. Crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana, fill. Virabhadrasana, warrior two, empty. Reverse it, breath in. High plank, Dandasana, breath out. Breathe in, either stay or low. Back up to high. Down to low. Upward facing, fill. Downward facing, empty. Right leg, take it up, fill up. Low lunge, exhale out. Crescent, fill up. Vira two, empty out. Reverse, breath in. High plank, breath out. Take your breath. Exhale down. Inhale, back up. Exhale down. Upward facing, fill. Downward facing, empty. Left leg, take it up. Bring it through. Crescent, fill. Vira 2, empty. Reverse, inhale. High plank, exhale. Breathe in. Low plank, empty. High plank, fill. Low plank, empty. Upward facing in. Downward facing, stay. Close your eyes. Check in. How's that evenness going? This is where we get to practice. It's that real-time practice. To notice, when the challenge gets to my mind, how can I come back to my breath? How can I come back to that evenness? One more breath and one more flow. Right leg, take it up, breathe in. Low lunge, breathe out. Crescent lunge, fill up. Warrior 2, empty out. Reverse, breath in. High plank, breath out. You can stay, breathe in. Or shift down, breathe out. Back up, inhale. Low plank, exhale. Upward facing, fill. Downward facing, empty. Left leg, take it up. Exhale to low, lunge. Inhale to crescent lunge. Open to warrior 2. Reverse, breath in. High plank, breath out. Take your breath. Exhale down. Inhale up. Back down, exhale. Then up dog, breath in. Downward facing dog, breath out. Closed child's pose. So come onto your knees, like we did just before. Big toes together, arms down by your sides. Forehead to the floor. Close your eyes. These quiet times give us the opportunity to check in. To balance out that dynamic movement with a passive moment. So then we can create that equanimity and take it with us into the next dynamic moment. So 3 breaths. Last breath. Downward facing dog. Right leg to the sky. If you need more time in your child's pose, then be happy to take that. Right leg to the sky. Bend the knee, peel the hip space open. Stay here if you're newer to the practice or you need to look after yourself. Otherwise, flip dog is optional. If you're flipping, make sure your left shoulder is looped and you're pushing that hand firmly into the floor. Reach up and over, take a breath. We're all going to meet in Malasana, deep squat. So flip back around if you flipped. Bring the right foot forward to the outside of your right pinky finger and then join it with your left to the left side. Sink down into your deep squat. Use your elbows against the inside of your knees. As you sink your hips, you can do the half version, hips up a bit higher. But lengthen out again through your collarbones. So hips grounding, collarbones lifting. Feel that Stira and Sukha. Feel those two polarities in your body. One more breath. Forward fold, but keep your feet hip width or wider to pistol grip your big toes. So wrap your peace fingers around your big toes. Find some length in a halfway lift and then dive into an active forward fold. One more breath. Bakasana, crow pose. Hands are shoulder width apart, planted firmly, gripping the mat with your fingertips. Bend your elbows, bring your knees onto the back of the top of your arms, and then rock your weight forward. Push the floor away, really dome through the upper back. The weight comes forward enough so your feet become light. Maybe one floats, maybe they both float. 3, 2, we're all going to meet in high push-up. So walk, step or jump, your feet back to your high plank. Side plank, take the weight into your right hand, left hand to the sky. Now modification, right knee on the floor. Otherwise really push down, loop that under shoulder, that right shoulder. If you want to take a starfish variation, go for it. Maybe take your gaze up, 3, 2, downward facing dog. Just walk your heels out, pedal your heels. Stretch out through your arms, breathe deep into your chest. We're going to come forward into our high plank. We're going to do that low push up to high push up again, but we're going to do it slowly. 3 seconds down, 2 seconds up. Take a breath in. 3, 2, 1, and then push all the way back up again. 2 more times. 3, 2, 1. Then push the floor away, come back up. You can do this on your knees. Take a breath. 1 more. 3, 2, 1. Push the floor away. Close child's pose. What yoga teaches us, especially the asana practice of yoga, is that when life's easy, it's easy for us to be even. It's easy for us to tap into equanimity, you know. It's when life gets challenging, that's when it's hard. That's when the mind just goes instantly into reaction. So we practice that evenness here through the challenging postures and transitions and the heat as well. 1 more breath. We do that on the other side. So come back up into your downward facing dog. If you need more time, then take it. Left leg to the sky, bend the knee, peel the hip space open. Either stay or flip dog is optional. Right shoulder this time, looping underneath, pushing against the floor with that right hand. Reaching up and over, breathe in. Malasana, deep squat as you breathe out. Left foot steps up, right foot steps up. Hips sink down, hands to heart. Lift up through your collarbones, feel your breath. To gorilla. Lift your hips up. Bring your feet in, not too much. Hip width or wider is where we want them to be. Slide your hands in underneath. Toes can be slightly turned out. Find a little bit of length. And again, another active forward fold. Sthira. Using that strength and steadiness, but combining it with this ease of breath and ease of mind. Last breath. Half moon. Take the weight into your, move the hands out from underneath your feet. Take the weight into your right leg. Left leg floats up to the sky. Left arm opens up to the sky as well, so you're stacking hips and shoulders. You can take your gaze up if you want to challenge your balance, or take your right hand off if you want to challenge your balance. 3, 2, straight over to the other side. So place the left foot down, take the weight in it. Left hand comes down and we utilize that as a balancing tool to start. Right side extends and stacks. Either gaze up or float the left fingertips. Sthira and Sukha. 3, 2, forward fold. Take a halfway lift, breathe in. High plank, send your hands down, feet back. Side plank to the mirrors. So take your weight into the left hand, right hand to the sky. Yeah. The modification, left knee on the floor. Push and loop that left shoulder. Reach up, yeah, starfish optional. 3, core on. 2, high plank. Breathe in. Evenness. 3, down low. 2, 1, and then push the floor away, come back up to your high. 2 more times. 3, 2, 1, push and lift. Do that 1 more time. 3, 2, 1, push and lift. And then drop your knees, lie down and come back into that Sphinx pose that we started at the very beginning. Elbows on the floor, hips on the floor. Dig your elbows into the floor, drag them back towards your hips, and then lift your collarbones, maybe even lift your chin. If you want to take a knee out to the side, go for it. If you took a knee out, bring it back, swap it over. Thread the needle, bring that knee back. Slide your right arm in underneath. Same as what we did at the beginning. Right arm underneath, left arm either out in front or use it as a pillow for your forehead. Stay here first. And then only if you want to add in that knee, so it's right arm underneath, which means the right knee comes out to the side. Last breath. Swapping it over to the other side, thread the needle. Left arm underneath. Right arm either out in front or bent as a pillow. A calm, equanimous mind is the ultimate weapon against any challenge. If you took the knee out, then you can slide the left knee out, left arm under, so left knee out. Last breath. Into our pec stretch. So unravel this, then bring your right arm out to the side, so elbows in line with your shoulder like a cactus, hand and arm on the floor, wrist in line with your elbow as well. Left hand underneath your left shoulder, and then you push the floor away, left leg lifts up off the floor and maybe it touches the floor behind you. Just depends on the rotation through your spine. You can keep pushing the left hand into the floor. Make sure your head's resting on the floor. And you'll feel a deep stretch through the front of that right shoulder. You might feel it elsewhere too, you know, if you tight through your back, you'll feel it through the twist. If you tight through the leg, you'll feel it through there. Breathe and find that evenness in every breath. Three more breaths. Slowly coming back onto your belly and taking the exact same thing to the other side. So your left arm in a cactus, half cactus, elbows in line with your shoulder and wrists in line with your elbow. Elbows at a 90-degree bend. Right hand pushes against the floor underneath the right shoulder. Right leg comes up and over, depending on your spine. Rest your head. Highly recommend closing your eyes. Breathe deep into the front of that left shoulder. 3 breaths. Then slowly roll out, back onto your belly, and interlace your hands behind your back. Hands will be on your bottom to start. Once you've interlaced them, bend your elbows and squeeze your elbows up towards the sky. You'll notice that your shoulder blades will squeeze together. Pushing the tops of your feet into the floor, engaging your core, lifting the pit of the belly. Start to straighten your arms out, lifting them off your bottom, and then lift your chest. Head, chest, shoulders, up off the floor for snake, Sarpasana. If you like, you can lift your legs as well. Big toes stay together, heels slightly apart. Hold for 3, 2, slowly release. Pick a cheek, close your eyes. Locust, Shalabhasana, chin to the floor. Arms down by your sides, palms on the floor. Again, push your feet into the floor, engage your legs. Lift your belly up, engage your core. And then on the inhale, loop your shoulders, lift head, chest, shoulders, arms, and legs. One more breath in. Release, pick the other cheek. You can stick with locust, what we just did, or move into floor bow. So bring your chin to the floor, engage your core. If you're taking floor bow, then reach around, grab one foot in each hand. Loop your shoulders behind you. You can wiggle your hands further down the leg. And then knees are together, core on, take a breath in and a breath out. And then on your next inhale, kick your legs towards the back of the room. Keep your knees at hip width apart behind. Keep your shoulders looped, chest lifts, collarbones broaden, maybe even gaze slightly up for 3, 2, and release. Pick a cheek, close your eyes. I'm going to come back into that closed child's pose one last time. So push the floor away. Big toes together, knees are either together or just slightly apart. Forehead to the floor, arms down by your sides. Stretch out through your back. And we're going to take just a short, we're not going to be here for too long, just a short frog pose. So you might like to set your mat up, triple your mat up to cushion your knees off. If you're doing that, come off your mat, fold your mat a third and then a third over itself. And then you're going to bring your knees onto your mat as wide as they can go away from each other apart. Once you've got your knees as far apart as they can go, take your weight into your forearms and then separate your feet. Where your feet go, doesn't matter. Remember, we're not going to be here for too long. So sink in, close your eyes, 10 deep breaths. Last breath. Slowly make your way out of it, onto your backs. So once you lift it up, unroll your mat, lie down. Option 1, Viparita Karani, a gentle inversion. Legs to the sky, slide your hands in underneath your lower back or underneath your hips. Option 2, shoulder stand. Dig your elbows into the floor, lift your hips up to the sky, balls of the feet to the sky. Rock onto your shoulders. Take the weight of your waist into your hands. Find your inversion. If you're a headstander, you have that safely in your practice, then that's also an option. Actually, wherever you are, it doesn't matter, you can stay as you are. If you're in shoulder stand, you might like to take it over into plow, where your toes head towards the floor above your head. They don't have to touch the floor, they can hover off the floor, but just keep a hold of your waist, making sure you're not looking left to right. If you took plow, then bend your knees. Let them land on your forehead, temples or ears, or you might like just to hug your knees into your chest. And our counter pose, fish, Matsyasana, rolling the spine out, letting your legs go long, sliding your hands in underneath your lower glutes, underneath your sit bones, and then come up onto your elbows, tuck your elbows in underneath. Squeeze your shoulder blades together underneath as well. Lift your chest, lift your gaze. If you can, if your neck's okay, take your gaze all the way back so the crown of your head gently finds the floor. If you want some extra core, float your legs 45 degrees. Extra energy is our lion's breaths. Forced exhale, tongue to chin, throat stretch, jaw release. And then slowly come out of it, hugging your knees into your chest to take it into a twist. So drop your knees over towards the mirror side of the room, your right side of your mat. Left arm opens out. You can take your gaze over that left shoulder as well and close your eyes down. And then bring the twist to the other side. Reach the opposite arm, gaze over that shoulder, soften. This is our Sukha. And we take that Sthira and Sukha with us, that evenness with us into our Shavasana. So unravel yourself, legs long, arms down by your sides, palms facing up. If you have a towel handy, you might like to place it over your eyes. There's a steadiness, there's a sthira here. And we couple that sthira with sukha, with ease and comfort. And when we balance those two out, we create evenness, equanimity. Rest in that state. gently bring some deeper breaths into your body. And then some small movements as well. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Good opportunity to roll out your wrists. Maybe even your ankles too. You might like to sway your head from side to side or hug your knees into your chest, but when you're ready, roll over onto your right hand side. Keep your eyes closed down. Just roll over onto your right side comfortably. So you might like to use your arms as a pillow underneath your head. You might like to draw your knees in. Just lie there for a moment. Remember that equanimous mind. Ultimate weapon against any challenges that life throws at us. When we're met with the polarities of life, yoga teaches us equanimity. You're going to gently and slowly help yourself up to a comfortable seated position facing the front of the room. If you can, keep your eyes down, but if you need to open them to maneuver, just half open them and then close them again once you've made your way up. Palms coming together at heart center, Anjali Mudra. And we close our practice off with that powerful vibration of Om that draws the mind into a state of equanimity. Take a deep breath in. Thumbs to third eye center, our spiritual eye, and we bow. Bow to ourselves, bow to our practice, bow to each other. That light of awareness, that state of equanimity within me, honours the same state, that same light within you. And when we experience that state together, we experience yoga unity. Together we are one, together we say Namaste. Namaste.